But again, I would not limit the design. I think one of the criticisms of apps, particularly within our own development community, is that they don't compete in terms of look and feel. And as I'll say later, functionality is more important than look and feel actually. But your first impressions with a throwaway app culture is important. So we threw a lot at this. We did masses of research of design look and feel, style, colour, tone, gradients, navigation button design, menu design, typography, iconography, and we just laid out hundreds and hundreds of interfaces and worked out what we liked and what fit with the brand that we were conceiving. There's about 50 screens in the app, as in sort of uniqueness of layout and component. And the design time for the initial launch app was somewhere in the region of 50 days. So I hope that puts into perspective sometimes, when we're building apps, that the technology seems to be such a huge, and it is a huge component, but unless you're really, maybe not matching it, but certainly putting a lot of effort into the style and user experience, then you're going to miss a very core component to its success. So as I said, well, whilst design's really important, and especially for the critical acclaim, users at the end of the day just want an app that works really well for them. If it looks good, that's icing on the cake. But it's the high functionality of Sprint GPS that really underpins the success. So I'm just going to hand across to Graham, who's now going to talk us through our approach to development.
Thanks, Kenny. Hi, I'm Graham Cruikshanks. I'm the Director of Mobile at Screen Media. I'm just going to pick up where Kenny left off and talk through the functionality, marketing, and some of the future development. It's a bit more techie slant than the design slant. I suppose that's why I'm here. Okay, a running app, a cycling app, GPS enabled, it's not a unique idea in itself. There's lots of them. It was there before we got there. It was there before we even looked or tried to talk about these things. So to compete, we can't just come up with an application that has no features or it's very sparse here. We had to tackle the problem of basically from day one dealing with the build out of an application that's going to have hundreds of features. And we're going to have to compete also against dedicated teams from big brands like Nike, Adidas, and capital investment fund backed teams like Runkeeper and MotionX as well. So when we focused our features analysis into this, we looked at, well, what are the core features? I mean, we can't just go off and do our unique ideas or take first. There's basic ideas that have to be done first, and they're core, and they're the first thing we looked and mapped out. And then we, like everyone, we put our secret sauce, our innovations on top of that. And then we didn't just look at apps, or we looked at the Garmin's of the world, the Timex watches of the world, all these things, and put them all together into our melting pot, and then mapped all this information out. So, we can't afford to build everything, sadly. So what we did is, what can we do better? Mapped them all out. What can we do in a reasonable time scale? I mean, we set a target of about 4 months to 6 months build to launch. And also, was those components, those features, big enough that a small development company, a one-man garage shop, couldn't just like churn that out the next day? Okay. So we launched. Our R1 release was okay. I mean, we got 1-star ratings for some bugs. We got some 3-star ratings for some issues here or there. So we also got some 5-star ratings as well. But our focus is, wait a second, we're getting 3-star. Why is this happening? So we worked through over the months thereafter, continual investment until we got to basically to our R5 release, release 5. And that point, we started getting consistent 5-star ratings, 4-star ratings, and we'll still get the odd 1-star here and there, but we really do focus on those. Anyway, big ideas and defensible is what needs to be done. The architecture, this is another thing. You're starting with a small, okay, we'll just publish that. That's fine, but actually when you take on something like running GPS and we're aiming for hundreds of thousands of users, which we've achieved and surpassed that quite significantly. We've got hundreds of features and tons, terabytes of GPS data getting uploaded every day. I mean, this resulted in us, when we were looking at this, with basically having to deal with a massive code base to support all these features. We had to implement a scalable infrastructure from Amazon EC2 we chose for that. That was a really good choice, as it turns out. And we also split everything up into small components, not just one big app. You know, everything, actually the app is just the bit that pops out at the end. There's tons of components that individual developers can understand and build. And basically, that's allowed us to scale. We've scaled with Amazon EC2. That's all set up to auto-scale. And we just leave it run during the day, high availability, and we get on with what we're best at, which is developing really cool new features for our customers. It's not a one-man team. I mean, Internet Explorer 4 was built with a 20-man team, so you're not wanting a 100-man team unless you'll end up with your 1-year development times and specifications of 300 pages and like big corporations end up with. You have to have actually a small team, but it can't be small enough that you can't get anything done. So we're talking, we had 6 developers full-time on this. This doesn't include the designers or the marketeers. This is just the people typing in the code. Across Objective-C for the iPhone, Java for the syncing server, .NET for our content management systems and websites and forum systems, really important to interact across all those. We couldn't source all that just in Glasgow really quickly. I mean, we started in September and we had to get going. To just put in an advert in the news, I want some iPhone developers and start interviewing, didn't make sense. So we went directly offshore, found some great engineers in India, as it turned out. What's weird is that they're just unbelievably quick at getting through the work, day after day, ethics. Not weird, it's just amazing. We've also got some engineers across the UK, and we've got QA engineers in the UK as well, and we've got .NET engineers in-house. Now, connecting all this up, we're using Scrum-based methodology. We're using Skype, daily calls, conference calls on that. We're also using screen sharing for code reviews. Every time some code is written, that gets checked in, and we go through all the code, and that guarantees we're getting QA and a conversation going back and forward. That's allowed us to basically access talent, build something big quickly at a reasonable cost, yeah? We're still all together. It's great. If you go to the credit screen on our app, you'll see all that, and we're actually pushing forward with new features and products and that. Okay, marketing. It's been one of the most up and down things. It's been a roller coaster for us, I think. Great development, great design, and all of a sudden I'm now a pocket marketeer. It's harsh reality of the App Store. You know, 1 minute you'll be doing well, a couple of bad reviews, you're down. That can mean the difference between making any money or no money. So what we have tried is PR agencies, Google ads, Facebook ads, discounts, promotions, Sponsoring sporting events, entering and winning awards, in-app advertising, Twitter advertising. And do you know what we've found? It's our customer. It all comes back to the customer and them being their best advocate. Yeah. So we have concentrated on fixing all our bugs. We have concentrating on making sure when an incoming customer request comes in, that's answered. We've concentrated on any review, we analyze that, and we put that into development for the next release to solve. We don't want that bad review again. We don't go, oh, we don't believe. No, we go, we're listening, and we go fix it. And that's allowed us to get 5-star reviews over 5 releases, and we're in release 7 now, across multiple territories, and now that means volume of sales. But that wasn't a one, marketing wasn't just, we continue with these other forms of marketing, but it wasn't just one thing that we've done, it's all those things. So focus on your customers and aim for everyone to be happy, and an advocate is my advice. Okay, future for us. I can't tell you all about our products because that's secret. Is that not how it goes? We're going to release 2 new products soon in Q1, Q2 next year. The point is we've got an existing app, an existing user base, and our revenue model hasn't just went like that, like a lot of apps done. It's climbing. So we're continually investing in our existing product as well, continual investment. And we're also looking to expand into other platforms. Although, we've got a lot to give, and we feel we can compete just in the Apple platform very, very well at the moment. We're not, we can just transfer that over to Android. We're looking at, I don't know, iFitness or any of these other things and thinking we could probably beat them, no problem. So should you build an app? You probably maybe have an app already, but should you build an app? The short answer is yes, I do recommend it. So yes with an if. So if you're ready to compete against the biggest big teams with dedicated engineers, you're no longer competing with like garage room guys. If you're going to make any sort of revenue that will like pay wages, you're competing with big teams of big engineers, big teams of engineers. You're competing against global brands. You have to be prepared to fight against Nike or fight against Adidas or any brand that's in your category, yeah? You also have to spend as much time on marketing, and that means money on marketing, as you did on the development side of the business. If you go, yeah, my marketing budget is that £100 worth of Google Ads I got through when I set up the business, you're probably going to be very disappointed, okay? And you also have to be ready for limited return, short term, because you're going to have to, when it goes live, your customers are going to rip through your app, all the stuff you probably didn't see. Hopefully that litmus stuff could help on that. That looked good. And be prepared to continue to invest for years. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.